What's up, everybody? This is Jason, Zombie Collector. Thought I'd go live for a little bit. Had some things I wanted to talk about and just kind of get a feel for the community and see where you guys are at with some of these things. So I kind of wait here maybe a minute or two, see we have a few people pop on so I can have some conversation with you all. You might be wondering why I look so like, hey, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Shouldn't you be in bed by now? Hey, what up, Aaron? Thanks for popping in, brother. I'm glad you're doing good, bud. You partying late tonight over at mom's house. That's pretty cool. I guess you were right. You can stay up late. I honestly, I was getting ready to talk about that. I was in a super hot shower. I've been using that hot water heater. Like I've been going out of style. I just sat in there and let that hot water hit me. So I'm probably like, feel like I'm fried. I have not been crying. Though I'm man enough to admit when I'm crying, because you know, Luca, I always tell you when I'm always honest when I'm crying. You know that. I'm always like, you never have to worry about me saying, oh, I don't cry. Uh, I saw you went live today, Aaron, yourself, dude. If you're still in here, I see you went live. I always miss you. You apparently go live in the afternoon when I'm still working. So sorry I missed your live stream, but I just saw it pop up that you had a new video. So I'm gonna hang here. I know the secret's out, dude. My son just completely outed me, man. He called me. He said I was lying or crying. I was, dude. I was crying. I was crying tears of joy in my shower because I finally got hot water again. And that's actually, Doug, you're right. That was actually what I wanted to talk about, just because I thought, it's interesting. It's an interesting topic. It's a topic that, you know, um, all the interwebs are a buzz. It's all that everybody's talking about, the PSA pricing, and I just like to hear people's thoughts, and I'm definitely interested in hearing, other sides of it. I can, if anybody wants to pop on, I don't know if anybody wants to pop on, but I can put the link in the chat. And if you all want to pop on, we can have a little conversation one-on-one. I know it's easier to talk via video, of course, than trying to do it through messaging or putting comments on. But I'm gonna try not to cry anymore now that Luca outed me as a big crier. You know what? I heard women like men who cry, so I'm okay with it. I'll be like, cry, get those tears going, get those waterworks going. So, whoa now, whoa now, whoa now. Yeah, it is. It is not cool that they double their prices. This is true. Not cool at all. Not. It's very unfortunate. That's for sure. Yeah, it's cool. I got Aaron in here. We got Don. We got Doug's in here. Of course, we got. Of course, we got. We got Diego in here. I'm crying. Got my kiddo in here. So we got a little bit of everybody. We got all generations and all parts of the USA in here hanging out. So that is for sure. That is for sure. But yeah, well, I just thought it was what up, Jesse? That's a shocker. Oh man. So yeah, this was I thought it was today I found out from I had actually a couple orders I had sent out to Bob and then someone else I was using for grading. And the one individual I've been using for grading, he contacted me on Monday morning when they released the pricing, and he told me what had happened. We all know already what happened, so I don't need to go into all those details. But he had told me, and I was completely shocked because I actually had an order that was on its way. Actually, I said like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. It just now got there to his house. I think yesterday. So I was really disappointed because I was trying to get that order in, regardless of all this was going on, because I didn't know at the time this was going to happen. So I've been stagnating my orders about every month and a half. I've been sending out between 10 to 15, 20 cards. So I was really disappointed when I found out because he wasn't able to get those in time out the door because it took 2 weeks to get to his house. And then I sent Bob. Bob had told me that there was rumblings that there might be something changed on March 1st. So he said, "Hey man, I'm gonna do an order with my pops. If you want, let me know. Send some stuff out." So I sent it out the next day. I sent out an order, but it didn't get there till Saturday, and he wanted to drop his stuff off on Friday to make sure he had it postmarked, which I totally understand, before the March 1st. So now I have those two orders coming back to me, unfortunately, because I'm not paying those prices. And I thought it was interesting because I know that a lot of people. I mean, I guess I'm not watching the right people, because I know I hear people talking about people complaining and whining and moaning about it, but honestly, only bench clear Mike over there, baseball collector, is the only one who kind of addressed it from his perspective. I haven't seen channels crying and moaning and whining. I'm sure there's plenty. I just don't sub to them probably, so I don't see it. So I'm quite aware that it's probably happening. I 100% believe it's happening. But I did find it interesting because I 100% I thought, I listened to what Mike had to say, and I mean I would have done that exact same video, quite frankly. And I mean he made some good points, and I'm not saying anything he hasn't already said. And but the crazy thing is what he said is what I've been saying for, I don't know, since I started my channel back in 2017 at this point, is that the only thing that people listen to, the only time people listen, I'm not talking about companies, is when you speak with your money or their lack of spending with your money. And I've been saying that, I've been preaching that for my channel for years. I've been preaching that with my own personal life, that I don't support companies or entities or whatever, that I don't agree with their approaches on their businesses, their stances, their views, or whatever. That's the only way you can make your voice heard. Now, if only a handful of people do it, it ain't gonna do no good. It's like it's like throwing a toothpick into a volcano. We can use a Deuce Bigelow, Mel Gigolo. It's like parking a bike in an airplane hangar. It ain't gonna do no good. But if you get thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, dare say millions of people, I'm not talking about PSA here, I'm just talking about in general, to voice their displeasure with their pocketbook, then people stand up and take notice. That's how you make changes happen with companies, you know. And I'm not a fan of trying to get your way by threats and by aggression and all that kind of stuff, because that's a tactic that people use nowadays too, which is absolutely, I think, is awful. And I would never, do that or suggest that in any capacity. But when it comes to big corporations and businesses, I mean, that's how you speak. And the crazy thing is that, this has only been going on for a couple of days. I've already heard a handful of people I know in this community is like, oh, I'm still sending stuff in. It's going to be worth it. As long as I get a 10, it's worth it. So, they doubled it, and I kind of find it funny because they could put it at $100, and I think people would still do it. They could put it at $150, and somebody's going to go, it's worth it. Because right now this card's selling for $325 on eBay at a Gem Mint 10. If I get a 10, I got $100 and something into this card now, or $125, I can maybe make $100. It's like literally going to Vegas and roll the dice. And I think, it's what I would call, and I think a lot of people who are sane would say, it's a mental illness. It's a sickness. It is a addiction that you cannot stop yourself. I think I heard somebody say they've raised their prices 4 times in 1 year, and it hasn't slowed the spread at all. I think somebody just posted in here a minute ago, 10 million backlog or something. I heard somebody else say that they get 250,000 cards a month sent in. And I think they said a couple years ago, 10 years ago, they would do like 1 million a year or something. I forgot that's what it was. They can do 1 million for the entire year. And now, it's just like, I don't even know, quadrupled. If that's even maybe more, I'm not a mathematician, so don't come to me. I went to a public school. But I mean, when you have somebody, an organization, a business, whatever, say they're doubling their prices, and that's exactly what they do, and then it sends shockwaves through the system. But then people still keep spending their money, and they're like, because they think, well, there's 1 card, or these 5 cards, or these 20 cards. As long as I get a Gem Mint 10, it's worth it. I mean, I think if anything has told you this past year that PSA is not handing out Gem Mint 10s like candy like they were before, that they are very much more strict than they have in the past. I think it's hilarious when people complain, like on a regular basis, that I don't see anything wrong with this card. This card looks perfect. We got perfect centering, perfect corners. I don't see any surface issues, and then they're the graders. I'm like, okay, well then why don't you quit your day job and go get a job at PSA? It's like you sent that in there for their expert opinion, and then you're not happy with the results. Then why would you do it in the first place? It makes no kind of sense. And I have a friend that's a good friend of mine. I mean, he wouldn't even do a video because he was embarrassed, I guess, by his Gem Mint rate success was so low. I think he said he sent in like a dozen cards, 20 cards, I don't know, and it was like at a paltry 8 or 12%. And he was embarrassed by that. And I'm sure lots of people do stuff like that, or they don't show all their cards. Sometimes they might even try to show the cards that make them look good, like they're smart or that they're they're in the know, because they don't want people to see that the other 20 cards they graded were like a bunch of duds. And then the ones who do show, they piss and moan about how they don't get the grades they want. It's like, so you think all of a sudden in this past year where things, where the candy train has stopped and has left the station, that all of a sudden now they're going to be handing out Gem Mint 10s to everybody when you send in your instead of sending your 130 cards, you send in your 80 cards or whatever, because you got to pick the cream of the crop. Or, and out of that 80 cards, you get like 5 or whatever Gem Mint 10s or whatnot. I mean, it's somewhat ludicrous, that people just continue, because they continue to condition and even what's the word I'm looking for? They continue to what's the word I'm looking for? Trick themselves into believing. They convince themselves into believing that they know better than PSA, or they know better than the public, or they know better than the next guy doing the PSA submission than they are, and that they're the PSA whisperer, the Gem Mint 10 whisperer, and it's just like it's just ridiculous. I mean, at the end of the day, I told Bob and the other guy, I'm like, hey, just send my cards back. And the one guy did say, hey, you have a couple really good cards here. He's been doing submissions for I don't know ever, and he goes, I would highly recommend you send these. I sent 20 cards to him or 15 cards, and he goes, I would send these two in because they're high dollar cards. Again, if they grade even at a 9, but definitely at a 10. And I'm like, dude, if you think it's worth it, I guess. And he goes, if they don't, I'll buy them from you. And I was like, oh. So now I have nothing invested in this. So if I get 10s, great. If I don't, I'll sell it to him for whatever the going rate is for that card at that time. So I feel like it was a fair trade because I was saying to send everything back. I told Bob to send everything back, and I think it's ridiculous that people just, they're not slowed down by it. As soon as I heard that, I called up, Bob, and I called up the other guy and was like immediately like, send my cards back. Yeah, baby. When people stop getting, it's the real world, baby. Woo, real world Indiana. So, I'm sorry I'm not really paying attention to the comments. I'm kind of glancing over, but I think people like when I come on here and kind of shoot from the hip. And I want to make sure that, I'm, don't get too off track. But I mean, but so many people choose not to stop, and they continue to choose to go down that rabbit hole, and that's to the hobby and to all of our detriments, quite frankly, because people can't stop. It's like an addiction. It's an addict. It's like if you watch the movie Menace to Society, and it's like, hey man, I got 2 cheeseburgers, man. I got these 2 cheeseburgers, man. And it's like that's where we're at right now with all this. It's getting ridiculous because people just can't stop themselves, or I shouldn't say they can't. They just don't. They don't want to stop themselves. And they rather be in a situation where they are possibly getting themselves into financial trouble, or maybe some people are so deep in it now that they think they have to do it because they got so much money wrapped up in, all these raw cards that they think is going to be great in the Gem Mint 10s and all that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, but it is a sickness that has currently no vaccine. So far, the current administration does not have a vaccine for the sickness called getting your cards graded and expecting to get Gem Mint 10s with a company who could care less about you or your financial ruin that you're putting yourself in. And that's where we're at right now. It is ridiculous. That's true. Garrett has a couple good quotes right now. He got a hashtag my hobby. He goes, make sure you're zigging if everybody else is zagging. And I think those are true. I don't know if he stole those from other people, or he came up with them on his own, or he's been looking at his own calendar. He has like a ancient Chinese New Year calendar that he's pulled these off of. But he's definitely coming up with some real zingers. And I'll give him full credit for that. Somebody said that on one of their other channels, and I appreciate them giving me credit, but I had to say, hey, it's not mine. It's actually a Garrett's. If it was behind closed doors and no one else was looking, I would have said it's mine. I would have taken credit, but publicly I can't do that. But honestly, it kind of makes me wonder. The question I have for some people are, Ziggler, do you see what he did there? But my question is that now that PSA has, they went to the dark side, but now they're like the entire Sith Lord, coven or whatever. Are you all does that change anybody's approach to getting cards graded using SGC or some of these new upstart companies, or Beckett or whatever's out there? I can't think of all the names of the companies or whatever. Does that change anything, even though you're not going to get your quote unquote most bang for your buck? Does that change the way you all approach your grading now for people who have to keep getting stuff graded? Are you still going to send in your cards at $20, $25 a pop, regardless if you're going to get a 10 or not? If anybody wants to pop in and talk about it, that's fine. You can list some comments, but I'm interested to hear the common man, the regular guy, the blue collar guy, the white collar guy, the yellow collar guy, the brown collar guy, whatever, the eggshell white collar guy. I want to know what those people are saying and thinking, because really those are the ones that make the biggest difference, because you have some of these big companies that's going to be able to, or big, dealers or card shops or whatever, who's going to, that ain't going to slow them down probably all that much. But the backbone of places like PSA is the little guy, the common guy. So if there's a, what are you all going to do? What you all going to do when PSA mania runs wild on you, brother? So, what are you all going to do? I'm interested to hear what that looks like and what that sees like, or what that looks like. See, this is what happens when you go live at like 10:15 at night. You start making up stuff. Yeah. I'm the checkered pattern shirt guy. Nice, Andy or Alex. See, this is what happens, man. My wheels already falling off and I'm barely going here. Yeah, I think Pig's a good alternative. I like it. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is like, until recently, until 2020, I never submitted ever, And then I was and like I explained this before, but this is like a Cliff Notes version. The reason why I started submitting my cards was because I wanted Luca to have something that he could guarantee has monetary value, and not just sitting in a monster box or a shoe box of just a bunch of raw cards and top loaders that some jagoff would come in and tell him if I'm not here, that that box is $100. I'll give you right now. I'll give you $100. Or puts it up at like a yard sale or an auction, and somebody comes through for $20. I'll buy this box, and it's like nothing but like Juan Soto rookie cards or whatnot. So I wanted to start grading them for his future, and of course, if things happen in my personal life over the years, and I might need a quick cash, I had possibly some liquid right there ready to go, liquid gold like mac and cheese. I had some liquid gold. Hey, what up? Oh, hashtag Card Crew, what up, Wax Man? Yeah, we gotta do that. We gotta do the hashtag. I don't know if y'all noticed, but I always put lots of like little like Easter eggs in my videos that I on the information section of every video I upload, or the description section. I usually put between 10 and 20 hashtags, and sometimes I put some stuff in little winks and nods to the community. Sometimes they're the exact same thing. Sometimes I mix it up. But if you ever want to get a laugh or look at kind of what I'm thinking at that time, check out that description section. I always put CFFL. I put Card Crew. I put Card Community a lot of times, even though it doesn't do anything, I'm sure, for my viewership or whatever. I just think it's a fun little nod. I usually try to do that with hashtags also for my friends, sometimes especially care packages or whatever. So I just think it's something fun to do for the people who are good friends, or dare I say, fans of the channel. So hey, what's up, man? I appreciate it. Hey, man, thanks, Victor. I know Egg does do that quite well too. And I try not to do like a lot of clickbaity stuff. Like, I don't try to be putting in like I don't want to give any credit, quite frankly, to like places like MLB and the Reds or whatever, just because of their past transgressions this last year. So I don't want to, even though that might help me out with like viewership or whatever, I don't even want to put that in there anymore. So maybe this year things will be different. I'll feel so like one way about it. But right now I'm kind of not wanting to even give them for my little bitty channel, even a little hashtag that even could do that to help give them any support. So, and I don't know if that even makes any sense in the world, but that's just kind of like my approach. But yeah, man, I try to definitely do little Easter egg hashtags. The Diego, nice, Diego, the Diego. So I threw out a lot of ideas out there, a lot of questions, and unfortunately, I haven't had anybody come back at me with any of their thoughts or opinions. If you want to pop on, I put the link at the top of this comment section, so you all can go and click on that link at the very top. and hop on as a guest, and we can like have a one-on-one conversation. It's going to be non-confrontational. It's not going to be also controversial. I only do controversial videos with myself, not with other people, because I don't want people to be put on the spot when I put people on blast or go off the rails. So, but yeah, I just find it to be very interesting. Again, I've been thinking, like, do I want to maybe start taking those cards I've been sending out to Bob and the other gentleman, that do I want some of the SGC? I think they're $10 a card, and I've heard they've been getting better. Like I mean, now this is going to change, and I'm sure, but they were getting better with their turnaround times. So they're still at $10, and let's just say their turnaround times go back to 3 months or 6 months. I mean, that's no different than what it was with PSA. I'm just kind of, hey, Will, I'm just kind of talking about just, the PSA stuff, just grading cards in general. Nothing like matter of fact, nothing like no deep dives. Well, most people don't come to my channel for any deep dives because my brain's pretty shallow itself. So I don't think anybody coming for any like real me waxing poetic about anything super deep here. Super deep, you gotta put her butt to sleep. Yeah, there's a little 90s, thrown in there. I made an Ice Cube reference in this video, and I also made a Menace to Society reference in this video, and I'm just now getting started, so it's definitely going to be happening. Someone's deleting your messages? I don't know. I don't think anybody has control except for myself, and I could be wrong, of the chat, because I when I go live on my phone, I don't think I can have people who have like the wrenches or whatever, like control over that. I could be wrong, but I don't think anybody does. And like if I click on somebody's name, it tells me I can block the user or put them in a timeout. Obviously, I don't want to put them in a timeout, so yeah, man. Yeah, well, yeah, like I said, I'm all about having people joining me live. I think that's the one difference with my channel than a lot of other people. I've been doing this for now. Since I knew I could go live on my phone, I've been able to do this now, I think, for 6-7 months, I guess, maybe longer. It feels like it's been at least that long. I could be wrong about the exact time frame, but it definitely brings another flavor of the month. Flavor Flav, boy! So it definitely brings a flavor, that's for sure. It probably could be, dude. I mean, if you use Victor's last name, he will come at you. Come at me, bruh. Hey, bruh. So, anyways, so yeah, that's been going on. That's what I've been thinking about. I was, thinking, what's the new look going to be, the new landscape of the community over the next few weeks and months? How will it change and shift and move things around in the community? Will it move things around? Like I said, I've already heard multiple people say they're still going to send stuff in. I mean, maybe they're not going to send in as much, but they're still sending stuff in. And I feel like I was saying before, how many of those people, are doing that to their detriment, or they're praying and hoping and wishing and whatever that they're getting a Gem Mint 10. I mean, I'm sure we all have heard this. It's like, I really need to get a Gem Mint 10 on this card to make it worth me sending it in. And that was before it went to $20, $25. And it's like, you're rolling the dice. Like, there's no guarantee that you're going to get a Gem Mint 10. And I remember how much of that can we continue to do? I guess for some people, you can put whatever price tag on it. They're still going to participate in the process, no matter if it's to, like I said, financial ruin or not. And it makes no kind of sense. I mean, think about it. Maybe it's just a mindset. Maybe, if I feel like I work that much time and effort and spend that kind of money and try to, and the best I can get back from all this hard work is a $10 bill, That's a lot of $10 bills I got to make before I feel like it makes it worth it. I mean, like, so you got 25 in the grade. Let's just say mod. You got 25 in the grade. Let's say you bought the card for $50. All right, so now you got $75 for a card. It comes back. If it grades it a 10, 200. Let's just say 300. If it grades it a 9, $100, maybe. So now you're at maybe $25 profit. Maybe. That's including not shipping the card, envelopes and packaging and all that other stuff, your time. So I'm like, are people now looking at it's worth doing it, even if I don't get a 10, if I can make $10, $20, maybe people think that's a hustle that I just don't think it's worth. And when I want to do the hustle, I want to try to do more than just $10 every card extra, $5 every card, especially if I'm putting that much effort into it. Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, that's the same thing. I'm receiving my cards back, and I want to just hold everything. I mean, I guess, I'm the same. I'm not a pessimist, Victor, but I approach it the same way you do. I send my cards in before when it was like $10 a card or 12 or whatever, which I felt like it was still highway robbery. But okay, I'll play. You know, I was fine with whatever the grade was what I got because I just wanted for my own personal collection. If I can get one or two cards at a high grade that I could flip that were cards I had no interest in, like Michael Jordan cards I've been sitting on for decades. I've been sending some of those in for kicks and giggles just because I know he's, the GOAT and he's, still super hot. And if you get a 10, you can get hundreds of dollars off almost any Michael Jordan card right now, which is crazy. But, it's just kind of one of those things where I'm just like, so many people, nothing's slowing them down, dude. I mean, they hear $20, $25, and they're like, thank you, sir. May I have another? It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. It's hard for me to put my mind around how people can continue to do that. I don't know. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I wish I had that kind of unlimited income that some of these people apparently have. Yeah, I mean, I got some Ichiro. I got a bunch of Ichiro rookie cards. I got one, I believe. I got his tops, I believe, in an 8, so nowhere near $330. But like I said, it's my PC. So I mean, even if I got a 10, if I got a 10 on any of my cards that were high dollar cards, it would be like it had to be either one, life changing money, or two, I don't know, like I had some major catastrophe in my house and I would need the money because it would have to help me, pay for something I need. Like, 2 years ago when a tornado came through and almost dropped a tree on my house, and I got my car wreck in the same year and destroy my car, then yeah, that's the kind of money I might need to get up and running again. But I wasn't grading cars back then, and even though I'm talking, you make it sound like I had one submission I've shown. So I mean, I don't make it sound like by any stretch. I know what's going on in this world. I don't, but I mean, I also understand when I see a sickness, when I see addiction, I definitely understand what that looks like, and that's what's happening for sure. You don't got to be a rocket scientist, to know what that looks like because I see it every day on people's channels for sure, without a doubt. So, oh yeah, man, for sure. Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, Gary. Yeah, I mean, I know it, and I know what you mean. Without a doubt, I mean, but I mean, like I said, if things got rough, if something happened, like there were bills that need to be paid, then I mean, there is no card in my collection. There's nothing in my collection that is off limits. I mean, any time I could pop on some of that stuff, and I would sell in a heartbeat if I needed to. I wouldn't even think twice about it. I mean, I do like the idea of seeing the cards go up. I like the idea of some of the wax I have going up in price. I think that's cool. Even the raw stuff. I mean, like one of the cards I sent to the one guy, It was Juan Soto Topps, Chrome rookie card. And I think a 10, I think he was telling me that's one of the cards he said you should go ahead and send off. And he goes, this is a really good example you sent. I think it could easily grade a 10. I think he said that card's selling right now for like 330, if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, I sent that card for myself. I mean, I'm not sending that card to turn around and resell. I mean, now if that card goes to 3,000, then I might be able to just say, I'll pull on the trigger on that bad boy, because that's a trip around the world for me. On the other side of the world, I wouldn't even think twice on that action. And if I was in the same boat with, like, I don't even know in some of these situations how some of these people see these prices and they don't pop on it, quite frankly, because it's like, oh, man, who was I watching? Somebody, and I know I'll get this wrong, but somebody I was watching, I can't remember if it was one of the big boys. I don't remember who it was. I don't know if it was Phil or Mike. I can't remember, but there was somebody, and I thought that was true. It's like maybe it was Dave. Maybe it was Dave, Blue Jacket 66, now that I think about it. Because he's like one of those guys, man. And I agree. I mean, he is a straight shooter. I know a lot of people, he rubs a lot of people the wrong way, or they don't dig his sense of humor or his approach, to life or whatever. I totally like Dave a lot. I mean, even sometimes Dave will say or do something, I'm just like, all right, man. Like, some of the trolling behavior he does, I'm just kind of like, oh, here we go. But I love it. I like it. It's one of those, like, it's like being a wrestling fan. You like love to hate him sometimes. And no, that I don't hate him. I love him, but you just like love to hate some of the stuff he does. Let's say, but I get the greatest kick out of his channel and stuff. But he has so much wisdom and like so much, just like me personally, he has so much wisdom and like, is that foresight or foreknowledge? Just normal critical thinking skills that I think a lot of people lack, including myself. And he's like, this is life-changing money. Why would I not sell the car? Like, this probably will never get to this high of heights at this point. And if I already have this card, or I already have multiples of this card, or if this card would help me buy, a brand new car or multiple cards that I need for, I not need, but want for my collection, or I can take my family on vacation, or it helps me pay off my house, why would you not do that? Quite honestly. And if you think about it, I mean, I don't know if he's the one who said it, but it's kind of true. It's like, could you even look, hey, what up, Yanks fan? What up, brother? Hey, what up, George? But if you think about it, if your family, okay, let me ask you, this might be a hot take. I just kind of thought about this in my mind. It's like a hybrid of what I've heard somebody else say, but maybe it's a hot take, and I might get some blowback on this, but it's okay. I can handle it. These shoulders are nice and strong and broad. If you have a family, or even if you don't, but let's just say you have a family, you have responsibilities, and you have cards in your collection that could actually help your family get to a better place in life. That paying off debt, paying off cars, paying off a house, helping your kids go to college, whatever, and you don't have that kind of money already set aside, and you have cards at this moment, at this exact time, that you could actually help your family and yourself have a better life, and you don't pop on selling those cards because you want to hold on to them because it's your card, or because I'll never find it again, or maybe it'll keep going up and all that. And I'm like, I feel like that is, what's the word I'm looking for? That is a very selfish thing to do. I mean, that is one of the most selfish things. You'd rather have you and your family live in a situation where you're struggling and not being able to make ends meet, and having things that your kids need or want, or your family needs and wants, and you choose not to sell your cards because you've got to keep your Jackie Robinson card because it's historical and it means so much. I'll never see it again. And it's something I'm going to take to the grave with me, even though it's not going to go with you. Either if your escalator is going up or if your escalator is going down, it ain't going with you. This is not ancient Egypt. So it's like, do you really think that those cards are better serving your family and your, you know, beast? That's not a shot at Mike, but your version of the beast, you know, your safety deposit box or whatever you're putting it in, or is it better served helping you and your family have a better life? Taking them on a vacation, even, you know, taking them somewhere that you don't think would ever be able to go. Some of us that have in our collections cards that are like life-changing cards. Some of us have, you know, year-changing cards. Like, it change your entire year. It could be a house-changing card. It could be a car-changing card. You know, it could be pay off your student loans, pay off medical bills kind of changing card. And guess what? Once you pay off those bills, or you shrink the amount that you owe on these bills, then you get out of other kinds of debt. That means more money you make in your real life, in your real job, now doesn't go towards paying off those bills. And you can now save money, or you can put that money towards other things to pay off other stuff. I think there's a lot of selfishness in this community because you're like, you want to hoard everything, and your family might be struggling to pay their bills, or your kids don't have the things that they need or want, or your family doesn't, and you hold on to these cards because you think, if I hold on an extra couple, you know, weeks or months or forever, this card's going to keep going up. But if you know anything about anything, and if you all been around a while, which I'm sure we all know, this will not sustain itself. So if you have in the card $1,000, let's say this card is $1,000, you have in this card $1,000. You either bought it or you got it graded or whatever. This card you have somehow obtained over the years, but now that card's $25,000, or you got a card at $25 and now this card is $5,000, or it was a $5 card and now it's $500 or whatever, and you choose not to use that kind of money if it better helps your family. What is wrong with your situation, like with your mental state of mind, to go, I know this can help me and my family be better off. I'm choosing not to do it because I don't want to have FOMO or whatever. You know, that to me is something that I do not understand in this community, because I have heard so many people say, I don't care how high the cards go, I'm not selling. But then I also can tell at the same time, those same people will post up on Facebook or whatever, like, yeah, I'm having a hard time making ends meet, or I can't, I had this life situation happen, or, you know, things are getting tough, or I'm kind of, money's tight right now. And I'm like, didn't you just post that you had Ted Williams 1954 card at a 6 or something, but you don't want to get rid of that because, you know, God forbid if it goes up an extra $150 next week, you know? I think it's something that's very telling about so many people and so many, not just people in this specific community right here, our people, but as a community at large. Yeah, I agree with you, Gary, about people who drugs and drink. It's the exact same principle, without a doubt, you know? Oh, here we go, Aaron. It's the exact same principle. What's up, Aaron?
What's up, my brother? I think we got that echo going again, man.
What up, brother? Aaron. What's up, Aaron?
What's up, my brother? I think we got that echo going again, man.
What up, brother? Are you gonna mute it?
What's up, my brother? I think we got that echo going again, man. You try to fix this.
All right, that'd be sweet.
What's up, my brother? I think we got that echo going again, man. You try to fix this.
That's hilarious, man. That'd be sweet. Okay, George, I know you are. I know you're one of those kind of addicts. Okay, George, I know you are. I know you're one of those kind of I feel like I'm in some kind of weird, like, Star Wars C-3PO R2-D2 thing. All right, that was strange. I hope Aaron comes back, but George, do you now? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you know, obviously there was like some, you know, I mean, obviously what I'm saying has a twofold situation. One, if you and your family don't need the money, then I continue as you go. And to Victor's point, if you have cards that aren't going to make you any money, then why sell them at a loss? Like, that's obvious. And I know we're being silly here. I mean, don't get it twisted. Don't get the words. Don't make up what you think I'm saying. I'm saying no. I'm saying if you need the money and it would help your family, it would help your situation, it help you personally, your family, whatever, in XYZ kind of way, it doesn't make any kind of sense why you wouldn't sell a card if you needed to. Why wait a year and a half from now? Let's say the bubble burst and that $8,000 card that you had now goes down to $2,000 or $1,000, and it goes back to about the price it was before, or maybe you even lost money at this point in time. I mean, that's a very high possibility that you bought the card at the highest price it might even been, and now the market drops and you don't get anything for it. All right, let's try this again, Aaron. Let's try this again.
I think we fixed, my brother.
All right, then. I was starting to get nervous. I thought you were under attack by some sort of alien. So I'm glad.
Yeah, I had to fix that, man. What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I like your hat. You're rocking that SGC. I see you already jumped ship.
Well, I've always been SGC. Always.
Oh man, can I say we're being sponsored by SGC right now? Can I put a little bit at the bottom?
All day, baby.
That's awesome. So I guess you've been hearing me talk about it, kind of like my view on things, I guess, and maybe that's inspired you to pop on. I mean, what's your thoughts on it? I mean, kind of where are you at with some of the stuff that's going on, or my view on some stuff?
No, I think you're dead on, man. The whole thing with raising the prices, but you know what it is like you heard, I think someone commented earlier about the tens of thousands of cards that PSA has taken in, and they're on all that back. They're just so backed up, and now the strategy becomes, well, maybe if we raise the prices, we won't get as many submissions. But it's like you said earlier, there's some people out there, that this is their way of income, so
yes.
They might, just look at that and say, well, I just got to do what I got to do, weather the storm until, PSA drops the price. I mean, for us, that guys that are just pure collectors that are not looking to flip, I think now you really got to look at, things for what they really are. Is it worth it right now to submit a card that, for $25 and possibly more to get it encapsulated? Or do you turn around and you look at other options, such as some of the other grading companies like SGC, which is a cheaper route, and some of the other grading companies, Beckett, they got all these new ones coming up, CSG or CGS.
Yeah.
Those guys are going to be, coming out if they haven't already came out, grading cards. So, I mean, for me personally, I'm not going to submit to PSA. I think that's, as a collector, I think that's way too much to charge the consumer for, encapsulation. And, I don't know, but you're right, man. Some people are just going to do it. It's because, obviously with PSA, they hold a better value than all the other graded companies. And, it is what it is. So, I understand. I get the strategy, but again, I'm one of those guys about transparency. Why not just come out and just say, cut it off? Just say, what, we're just we got too much right now, and we got to cut things off. And I get it, if you're not going to do that because you got so many competitors that are out there, and you're worried about business being taken away from you because of that. Hire more graders, man. I mean, you're a multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar company. Hire more graders, man. Do what you got to do to, make consumers happy, man. So I don't know. I agree with you, though, Jason. I do, man. Cold-heartedly, 100%, man, on this whole situation, man. It's just, it is what it is. That's the kind of times that we're in right now, I mean, with the way the market is going right now, it's a perfect win for you know, PSA to say, look, we're going to raise the prices because of all this stuff is going on. And you know what? You're going to have some people that just don't give a damn. They're going to come on and they're just going to say, you know what, we're just going to do it because the value is there regardless. If we get even listen, even 8s and 9s are now in high dollar amounts now. I mean, it doesn't matter if you get the 10. I mean, yeah, the 10's a win because you know it's going to bring that much more dollars. But even 9s are bringing big dollars, and even in some cases, depending on the car, 8s are bringing big dollar. So,
and I think to kind of follow what you're saying, I think is two things when you're talking. It's one, PSA is like, what is it? You know, squeezing a turnip to whatever. What is it? Like squeezing as much out of a turnip to get, you know, as much blood out of a turnip or whatever,
yep.
Or out of a beet or whatever. But it's like they don't want to hire more graders because that means less profit for them, because that means more money they're spending on those people. And on the flip side of that is that they know that there's people like that we've been talking about that they could raise it to $50 or $100, and it's not going to slow people down, and they're just going to keep sending it in. So
right.
unless they just do a hard stop, which would probably severely affect them, that they just know that they're in a win-win no matter what. Because why would you not spend an extra, you know, $15 an hour on 25 new graders or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Like what would be with the kind of money you're making, you know, that would be the most obvious thing. That would make everybody happy. But you know, why would you do that? Because because you would lose money. So they're like, not only are we not going to lose money by not hiring more people, we're going to charge even more. So the people like me and you, we fall out. But that doesn't matter because there's people like XB, you know, X, Y, and Z who will double up and send in on our behalf. You know, they're going to send in more. So, you know, we're out of it. But by them sending in those other guys, those like bigger guys, they're going to still send in 100 cards or 50 cards at even a higher amount. Because, I mean, you know, they're taking our place. So they're still going to get those people sending it in. So it's a win-win for them. They don't got to hire more people, and they might cut out the small guys, but the other guys, they're going to send them in. They're going to do double. Of course, they're paying double, if not even more in some cases, and that's going to make up for people like us not being able to make it in there, you know? And I mean, you know, like I said, I mean, it hasn't even been 72 hours or 48 hours, and there's already people saying, I'm still sending stuff in, you know? So it's like, and we only see it from this, you know, there's obviously tens of thousands of people doing this daily, I'm sure, or however many people do this. So, I mean, it's just very frustrating. And like you said, there's other companies, and maybe like an SGC and them might finally be able to capitalize now. But, you know, I guess time will tell. I know we thought of that this past summer when PSA had those struggles because they shut down because of all the hashtag Rona. And SGC was like, okay, we got the ball, we're gonna run with it. And then they got spiked right, like, you know, right in the red zone. They got hit hard, and they didn't make it quite across the line. So I don't know. Do you see this as an opportunity, like you kind of alluded to, that there might actually be an opportunity now to kind of even the playing fields, or is that still just wishful thinking?
No, I think it will be. I think you know, if prices continue to stay at the amounts that they are, I think people will. You know, again, it's all about what you want to do, right? I mean, if you're just a collector who's collecting and just wants to have your cards encapsulated to preserve them, then, you know, there is other avenues to go. I mean, SGC has a great slab. From what I'm hearing, HGC or HGA has a great slab, and now the CGS too, I'm hearing are really good. So it just all depends on what you want to do. I mean, if you're trying to flip, then, you know, PSA is the route to go, man. And you know, is it going to affect people? You know, I highly doubt it, man. I think people are still going to spend to them at these prices. Now, it's going to be a different story once the market crashes. Then you got a whole another world of conversation. You know, so I don't know, man. I just think, I personally, I'm not going to submit to PSA. I just, again, I'm like everybody else out there. Can you afford to do that? Absolutely not, man. I mean, that's not in most people's budgets to do it. So, and then, Bink Scott, man, he's saying that PSA come out and say that that was their strategy. And I think this is all speculation. I just gathered that just off of some research I was doing. Personally, I haven't seen anything come out from them and say that that was their quote unquote strategy. But, I don't know, man. You just have to look at things for what they really are.
So let me ask you this. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Please continue.
Go ahead, Tommy.
So let me ask you this, because as you're a collector, I'm a collector. I think most people probably watching our channels are probably predominantly collectors anyways, because we don't do a lot. I don't think I've ever seen you, and I know myself, ever talk about speculating or flipping or anything like that. So it's purely collecting. So yeah. What's your thought process, or what do you think about people who go, well, I only use can you see and hear me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay. My phone froze on me. But what's your thoughts are when it comes to people who say, well, I only send this PSA because I like the way it looks. It's all uniform or whatever. But to your point, if you're only sending a PSA because it's all uniform and it's all the same look or whatever, but if all you care about is getting it graded and just having it in your collection, why does it matter that you use PSA? Why don't you use SGC or one of these other companies, right? Because if it all is just to have it graded and to have it, encapsulated and protected, doesn't matter about who grades it. So when I hear people say that, I think you're saying that because of whatever reason, because you don't want to be that guy. But really, you're saying I want this because PSA is like the Nike, it's the golden standard, and I have to do it this way, because if not, then I look like I'm getting a Reebok or I'm getting a Puma, and I want it to be PSA because it shows more prestige and it shows a little bit more like higher level and all this. I mean, at the end of the day, really, it shouldn't matter who you use, because if you're a collector, what does it matter?
Yeah, I think that's a great question to ask. And I think the short answer is it's just all based on preference, man, to be honest. I mean, some people are like that. That's the way they collect. If they like to have uniform in their collection and they've been using PSA, and depending on how many PSA cards they have, they like to just keep it uniform. I mean, my thing is,
what's going on here? Did we lose us? Oh, there we go. Are you there? Huh, that's weird.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go. I was like, what's happening right now? Okay.
Yeah.
So please continue.
I think that the whole thing, the short answer to that, like I was saying, man, it's just preference, man. If you got X amount of cards that are already graded by PSA, you just like to keep that uniform going, and of course you're going to just use PSA. At the end of the day, right? I mean, does it matter? To me, it doesn't. But again, I mean, I do have a personal preference too, like everybody else. I like SGC. I like the way they look. I like the way the holders look. I like the way the cards look into the holder. But do I buy PSA? Do I buy Beckett? Absolutely. I don't crack them out and resend them in. It is what it is. But there are collectors that are out there that do that. And look, at the end of the day, right? I mean, that's what's so great about the hobby, right? You collect how you want to collect. Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and tell a man that, oh, you're wrong for having 25 graded PSA cards and you want to keep that going. But man, all power to you, brother. That's the way you want to keep it going. Then sure, that's what makes you happy. Then you keep doing that, Sure. So I mean, I'm just as a consumer that is on a budget like everybody else. You just have to kind of weigh those pros and cons. Does it make sense if you're just a collector, to go with PSA, pay that $25 or whatever it's going to cost to get it graded, or do you look for other opportunities, or do you just wait? You know, or do you just wait? Do you just let things play it out? Don't send it in to them until, you know, everything folds over. I mean, that might be another option for you too. You just don't send the graded cards. And if you're a collector and you're not selling, you know,
Right.
so, you know,
I think, you know, I think, you know, for people like myself and you, it sounds like, you know, I'm fine with waiting. It's like watching a movie. I'm okay with a slow burn. I don't need something happening like it's a video game. Every 45 seconds has to happen. But so many people now, you know, even people have been conditioned our age, and of course, you know, younger, without a doubt, that it's like immediate gratification. Like they have to have it, they have to have it. And, you know, that's what I think, that people cannot wait. You know, they have a hard time holding off and kind of seeing what happens over the next few months or whatever. You know, dare I say a year with PSA, you know, to see if anything changes. And they rather, to their own detriment or, you know, pocketbook or whatever, will continue to send in instead of changing course and maybe looking at SGC, giving them a fair shake and see what it looks like, you know? I mean, I think that a lot of people would rather just go down with a ship like it's Titanic. You know, I'll never let go, Jack. I'll never let go, even if it's taking you to the bottom of the ocean, you know? And I think that's the danger zone we find ourselves in, that some people, because they have been conditioned that PSA is the only way, that, you know, they're going to do whatever it takes. Hence, either pay the crazy prices or just send it in. Maybe they will not send it as much, but continue to send it in and not just wait it out because they can't help themselves. And, you know, like you said, we as collectors, we can probably wait it out, but at the same time, I don't know how much of that, with what's that percentage, you know, for their bottom line. How many collectors are going to hold off? You know, they're going to take their ball and go home. And then how many people are going to continue to take, you know, go and continue to push ahead?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think back, man, I was having a conversation in a card shop, and there's that whole stereotype thing that you're referring to, that these different levels of grading companies, you know, I mean, you hear it all day, PSA 1, Beckett 2, SGC 3, and there's all that type of stuff going on. And in the card shops, I remember talking to some of the younger kids about grading, and they view things the same way, you know, and that goes back to the whole brainwash thing you're talking about, is that, well, you know, if you got an SGC or a Beckett graded card, then it doesn't hold the value, and the value drives the collector to want to go stick with PSA versus, you know, what they really may feel inside is that, oh, well, SGC holder, this card looks really fantastic, but we're going to ignore that and just go with PSA because we see a value there. So, and I you know, I think that's a shame, and I think you're right about that, Jason, that so many people out there may feel that way. And it's a shame, man, because, you know, I've been using SGC, man, for years, man. I mean, years, back when they first came out, man. And I've always trusted SGC. And, you know, they never done me wrong, from the customer service department to, you know, their greatest labs. And if there was ever an issue, they would take care of it, you know. And I've used Beckett too, you know. I've had some good experiences with Beckett, you know, again, but I prefer SGC. You know, I don't look at it as SGC being better than PSA. I don't look at them being better than Beckett. I just look at it as a graded company that I trust, you know, and I respect them. So, and that's it. But I think you're right, man. There's that whole thing, man, that about, you know, PSA is at the top and the value is there, and, you know, nobody comes on and talks about that either, man, which is, you know, and then you're right. I heard earlier you were saying that, changing up just a little bit, you were saying how people get the cards graded and they don't come back, you know, the right grade from PSA, and they don't even show the cards. So again, that fuels what I'm talking about here, you know, because PSA is supposed to hold a value. If the grade is not high in PSA, the value's not there, and then guess what? PSA doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
What are we doing,
you know,
man?
and the thing that bothers me is that, you know, people refuse to be, transparent. And people refuse to call them out on it. Not each other, but the company itself out. And, because somehow they think they're going to have, some kind of blowback or community, get on them about it, or like people just be like, you're jealous or whatever the case is, or you just have a bad eye and you can't see the defects in your card or whatever the kind of thing is. And it's like, sometimes the car gets the grade because that's the grade the car deserves. And you are the one with the problem. It's not that it wasn't the other way around. I mean, you're sending it to them because they're the professionals, like we talked about. And if you don't think they're actually professionals, then what are you doing? Like you said, send it in the first place. Then if that's the case, then send it down to Caesar and Pig will take care of it for you. Throw it in the slab and you call it a day, if that's just what you're looking for. So, I mean, I think that a lot of us, we fool ourselves and we fool other people around us because you don't want to look foolish. But instead of just being 100 about it, and that's the thing. It's like, it's a detriment to me sometimes in my channel because I just always speak what I think is truth or my personal views on things. And sometimes it's a resounding success, and sometimes it's like the Hindenburg going down. And I'm okay with both of those options. It's just the way I am. But I just wish more people would keep it like that, because at the end of the day, if more people, will just being honest about their experiences, I think it would help the community a lot more and help us understand maybe a better perspective on things, and maybe change the tide a little bit with PSA or just anything for that matter.
Right. I mean, I can tell. I'll be honest with you, Jay. Honestly, man, I don't grade anymore.
Yeah.
I haven't submitted anything for a long time, man. I don't do it anymore. Most of all the greatest stuff, like my other video I made live earlier, I just showed a ton of PSA cards that I had in my collection that from years ago, right? I don't do it anymore, man. I just, I'm kind of on the fence with grading in general. I think my wife summed it up. She summed it up kind of for me, man. I mean, we were having conversations about graded cards, and she says, why do you grade, right? She's asking me, why do you do all the grading? And she told me, she says, does that change the history of the player? She asked me, she says, what does that do? So she just asked me to kind of just put things in perspective, Again, you think about, well, why do you collect? I mean, I understand, and this, again, by me saying what I'm saying, I'm not telling anyone not to go grade, because I understand why we do it. We all have our reasons to why you do it. But for me, personally, I don't do it anymore because it's not fun. It's not fun anymore, and it doesn't reflect the real reason to why I collect. I collect the card, man, and the player, the history of that person drives me. So why do I need it encapsulate to justify the history of anything? It doesn't change anything. Right. I'm going to love that card whether it's in the slab or not, right? So again, and then the other part of it is the money that I would submit cards to spend on grading. Well, I can use that to grab some more cards, man. So I don't do it anymore, man. So
I mean, I think a lot of people, because they're going to have to, well, you took it upon yourself just to do it because it's just not as important to you at this point in your life to do that. A lot of people are going to take that approach because they're going to have to, because they're just not going to be able to afford it, because it's not going to be an option, And maybe it'll help correct a lot of people's mindsets. That's probably wishful thinking, but to be like you said, or like your wife said, does it change the history of the card? Does it change anything with the card? The person who's printed on that card, does it change anything about it, having it encased or encapsulated or not? And the answer is no, it doesn't. All it does is make you feel better about yourself or your collection, but it doesn't add anything really to the card, except if you're adding monetary value. But then why? I mean, that's not why you got into it when you were 8 years old, sitting on your floor in your bedroom, putting them in your binders or whatever. That's not why you were turning on the game with your mom or your dad, like you talk about multiple times, learning the history of the players and the games and the ballparks and the experiences and all that stuff. That's not why you did all that stuff. You did it because you love the game, you love the play, you love the team. And now we've changed it into where it's just a money making machine. Even if you don't even spend the money or you don't sell the card, you still think in those terms.
Yeah, yeah. You're right. Absolutely, man. So, but look, I get, again, at the flip side, I get why people do it. There's a, you want to have that peace of mind about, if you're going to grade vintage cards, you want to have, to make sure that it's a legit, authentic, older card. And then, some people just, like the way they look in slabs. I get that piece too. I do, man. But, for me,
I mean, like if people were, regardless of what company you use, if people were sitting off their like actual vintage cars that already have value without them being graded, but it encapsulates them, it keeps them safe, protects them. Obviously,
Yep.
could probably possibly down the road for your family, it will have monetary value of worth more than likely. I understand that. But my problem is the people who are doing the chasing, like the Jason Dominguez's and the the Acunas and the the Tatises and all that. That's my concern, is that these guys are chasing what probably is going to be a pipe dream for 99.99%. And that's what the problem is. It's not like most of these people are sending in Jackie Robinson and Sandy Koufaxes and Duke Snyders and blah, blah, blah. They're sending in all this other ridiculousness. That might not have any value next week if somebody comes up and they get like drilled in the arm with a comebacker in spring training, their career's over.
Yeah, but I mean, how long? But isn't that the way it goes, though, Jay? I mean, the media comes out and look, you get one guy come in, he hit 4 home runs in the game, and the media runs away with it. The next day, his card is 5 times what it was going for, right?
I know. I will never forget this. I was JT, Triple Crown 24. He was over my house about a year ago. He was doing card shows in the area, and he came over and we would crash the night before they go to the card show. And I'll never forget this. And he's the first one I thought brought it to my attention. And I'm, it makes sense when you hear it. But Nick Senzel was in his rookie year with the Reds. So it was like 2019, I believe, or whatever, right? And he ended up having one good night. Like he had back-to-back jacks or something like that. That card was like $5 all day long. He goes back to the card show that day on raw card and sold the card because of one game for $100 or $50 or something like that. And I'm like, that is where we're at right now with this market. Like one guy ends up eating his Wheaties that morning, and all of a sudden he's like the next Mickey Mantle. But then the next time he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn the next game, and everybody forgot his name. And it's just like, no one wants to actually wait for the long game and wait and see how these guys are. Everybody has to do that flash in the pan guy. And I mean, it's a sink or swim. It's like the stock market. I understand like the allure to it, but at the same time, everybody, why a lot of people don't do the stock market? Because it's difficult to figure out, or else we all would be doing it. It's the same idea with these cards. Like if everybody could do what a handful of people could do, then we're all going to be millionaires. It's just not realistic. But everybody thinks they are, and so then they're grabbing the Nick Senzels of the world, and it's like it's a joke because Nick Senzel is now probably fighting for freaking a spot on the team.
Yeah, it's fun. It's definitely interesting, man. I think back. I don't know if you know football, but I think back to RG3, and
I know who he is.
Yeah, when he came in, I mean, this guy was supposed to be the next best thing to sliced bread, right? He comes in, Washington, the media puts him on this huge pedestal. He's going to be this and going to be that. And I mean, his cards went through the roof. Man, I mean, they were going for all kind of money. And where's RG3 at now? He's not even in the league, man. So,
you got him in maybe the nickel box if you're lucky,
Yeah, so it's just. It's nuts. It's a vicious cycle, man. I tell you, man. But you're right, man. That's what the media does, man. Media puts it out. Next thing you know, people run with it. They're spending top dollars, and within 2 weeks, that player's out of the league. So
well, I mean, I think that people don't know. I mean, I'm sure most people know your channel, but I wanted to say I think it's great because I watched all your videos from the time you started till yesterday or whatever. And I think that the one thing they can learn from your channel, people like you, people like Bowman53, you know, you guys just do your thing. You know, you don't let other people, other channels, other, you know, ebbs and flows in the hobby manipulate how you approach the hobby. You know, it's like you do you, and it's refreshing to see that, because I think a lot of people unfortunately don't understand that. You know, and I like that you will do a 2 or 3 minute video showcasing one card. I mean, like, you know, it's great. You know, I saw you're showing one just a couple of days ago, like the bat knob or whatever card, or like the side of the bat, you know, Louisville Slugger or whatever. And I think that's great. And you know, and I mean, I think, you know, I wish we could get back to a lot more of that, because there's a lot more, like, again, to what you said and your wife said, like the history of the game, the card, the player, you know, and not be so worried about how many zeros are connected to that card.
Right. I agree, Jay, with that, man. I remember, I think back when I first got on YouTube, man, I remember, man, it was just great, man. I mean, people were just showing their collections and talking about why they liked the player, why they picked up the card, man. It was just refreshing, man. And now you're right. I mean, most of the time you get on YouTube, it's the title of videos now is you know, how much money you can make, or investments, I should say. And,
Right.
you know, after a while, it just gets redundant, man. It gets old, and it, you know, it's not a good watch, at least for me. I don't know, man. You know.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, if you think, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, at the end of the day, regardless of what you're showing off, I don't care if it's you know, Juan Soto or a Sandy Koufax. If you're not bringing anything into the story, then it's the card we all have seen 1,000 times. You know, am I not right? We've seen that card 1,000 times. So what you do, what Alex does, what a handful of other people do, I like to think of myself in a way when I do like my Japanese ball players or whatever, is add a little bit something to the story. You know, maybe a personal perspective, you know, adding some history of the game, maybe a little side note or a little side piece of what was going on in that moment or whatever. It brings it together. I mean, any of us, including myself, can sit in front of a camera and be like, Jim Mint 10, Jim Mint 10, Jim Mint 10, Jim Mint 10. I mean, like, who gives a crap out? You know, I don't get it. I don't care, you know, because there's nothing I'm learning from you aside from that you're able to read the side. You can read a slab. Congratulations. You know, I'm not getting anything from that. So, you know, I wish there'd be more people out there who would watch your stuff, and other people like Alex and whatnot, and try to learn from you all how to do a proper video and how to, like, actually put the card over, or the team or whatever, opposed to just saying, let me just show you all these 2021 Topps cards. I'm just opening up and don't even show you the cards or nothing. I'm just looking for the hits or whatever.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Jay.
Yeah, man. So I don't want to keep you, but I did want to ask you: are you going to the National this year? I don't. Have you made that decision yet?
No, I haven't. I haven't made that decision, man. I'm still kind of thinking about it. Still on the fence about it, man. You know, just the whole COVID thing. I'm not sure, to be honest, Jay. It could change up, man. I could very well go. So I'm not sure.
Are you gonna try to do some games in there in California, since they're opening it up and to 30% crowds or whatever? I think most parks are doing, or somewhere near that.
There's a few places out here out here in the neck of the woods. You know, like there's a place, Pepino Man mentioned this place in his videos a lot, Frankensons. And I'll probably try to set something up, man, where I can meet up with those guys, you know, just kind of hang out and pick up a few things and talk baseball cards and whatnot. And then, of course, Nate, you know, I always, you know, rap with Nate a lot. So we were talking about getting together too and doing something up in his neck of the woods. So we'll see, man. We'll see how it all plays out.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, hopefully we'll get to see that happen this coming spring and summer, with you guys maybe trying to get together. And then if the National ends up happening, and if it does happen, like you said, if it's going to make sense for people to come out to it, or what parameters they may put around it for the attendees, kind of get an idea. Because I feel like it's hard to make a decision right now for that kind of thing when we don't really know what they're going to have in place, if anything, for the fans or the customers that show up there, the attendees. You know, I think it's kind of hard to assume when we don't really know, with so much up in the air, like you said.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, Ron says he's going to go to Frankenstein too, huh? Yeah, brother Ron, man, we definitely can meet up, man. This is people in here, people in here too, Jay. That's familiar with Frankenstein's. That's awesome.
All right. It'll be a good time. Always look forward whenever other YouTubers get together. I think that's something we all can enjoy in doing. Meetups and get-togethers and all that. It's always a fun experience to kind of watch that through your all's eyes of hanging out. It's always a good time. So that's for sure.
Jay, listen, man. Thanks for having me on. Yep. Appreciate it, man.
All right, man. I appreciate it, Aaron.
Be safe, okay? You and the fam, be safe, okay?
You take care. You and you guys do the same. Have a good one.
Right. You too.
Bye. See ya. So, hey, guys, I really appreciate you all hanging out with me and Aaron, man. It was awesome. I know that was something I look forward to doing, just kind of going live with people. Aaron popped in. Quite honestly, I had no idea what to expect, which is really cool. You never know, and it was a good experience. I truly like those kind of things. I enjoy hanging out and getting to know people, have those conversations. Hopefully, you all learned a little bit, or maybe you all got some enjoyment or some laughs. I'm sure for me, some laugh ridiculousness that I might be bringing to this channel on a day-to-day basis. But anyways, guys, I'm going to hop off it here. It's getting kind of late here on the East Coast. Hope you all enjoyed, and I do definitely look forward to carrying this conversation on more down the road. So until next time, guys, peace.